Mama, no be you at all. No be me. All these years, you guys they blame me. The doctor just showed me a report. It's me and Emeka, we were the problem. My daughter! My daughter!
My name is Ngozi Okonko, and this is the story of how I lost everything. My marriage, my peace, and almost lost myself because of a truth that was hiding in plain sight for 7 years. Let me take you back to where it all started. Back to 2018, when I was still Ngozi as a young woman with stars in my eyes and love in my heart. Back then, I believed in fairy tales. I believed in happy endings. I was so wrong. Emeka was everything a woman could want. Tall, handsome, a civil engineer working with a big construction company in Lagos. His family was respected in our community. His father was a retired director, his mother a retired teacher. When they came to ask for my hand in marriage, my parents were overjoyed. Ngozi, this boy is a blessing, my mother told me. Don't let him go. And I didn't plan to. The traditional marriage ceremony was beautiful. My mother wore her finest tassel oak. My father slaughtered 2 goats in celebration. Emeka looked at me like I was the most precious thing in the world. On our traditional marriage day, he knelt before me and said those words I would never forget. Ngozi, I will love you until the day I die. Those words echoed in my head for years, even when he stopped meaning them. We did our court wedding 6 months later. Small ceremony, intimate gathering. Everything was perfect. In the first 2 years of our marriage, we were the couple everyone talked about. We attended the same church, we went for getaways, we were always laughing together. We were happy. But there was one problem, no baby. By the 3rd year of marriage, the whisper started. At church, women would touch my belly and say, "When is it coming?" My mother-in-law started making comments during family gatherings. "Emeka, see your mates. Chidi from your office now don't get 3 children. When una go start una own." Emeka would just smile and say, "God go do am." But I could see the way his eyes changed when he looked at other people's children. There was a hunger there, a restlessness. We started trying harder. I began tracking my ovulation cycles. Emeka started eating more proteins. We downloaded apps that helped us know my fertile days. When natural methods didn't work, we tried medical interventions. I took fertility drugs. We tried IUI, intrauterine insemination twice. Both failed. Each failed attempt felt like a knife in my chest. "It's okay," Emeka would say. "We'll keep trying." But I noticed he started going out more, working late, coming home or smelling of perfume that wasn't mine. I didn't want to believe what I was beginning to suspect. I told myself it was stress. I told myself work was demanding. I told myself anything but the truth, because the truth was too painful to face. Favor Eze is Emeka's cousin. She came to Lagos from Enugu in 2020 to study nursing at Lagos University Teaching Hospital. Emeka's mother asked us to let her stay with us since we had extra space in our apartment. "She's family," his mother said. "Take care of her." We agreed. What could go wrong? Everything. At first, Favor was like the little sister I never had. She helped with household chores. She cooked. She was always so respectful. But I started noticing things. The way she would sit close to Emeka when watching TV. The way she would accidentally wear my clothes. The way she would call him big brother in a tone that sounded too soft. One evening, I came home early from work. I opened the door quietly and walked into the living room. Favor was sitting on the couch, and Emeka was behind her, braiding her hair. Not cousin braiding. The kind of braiding a husband does for his wife. They saw me and jumped apart. "Ngozi," Emeka stammered. "You're home early." "Yes," I said, my voice hollow. "I am. That night we fought." Emeka said I was imagining things. Favor cried and said she was sorry, that she didn't mean to make me uncomfortable. His mother called and said I was being insecure, that Favor was just a child. But I knew what I saw. I chose to believe my husband over my eyes, because I loved him, and because I was afraid of what would happen if I didn't. The months that followed were the darkest of my life. Emeka and I grew apart. He worked late, traveled for work more often. Our conversations became limited to household logistics, and the pressure for a baby intensified from every direction. My mother-in-law started her campaign. "Perhaps God is waiting for you to do something right," she would say. Maybe you're not praying enough. Maybe there's a generational curse from your family. My own mother started hearing these things and began to internalize them. She visited traditional healers, did spiritual baths, brought all sorts of native doctors to our house. One day, my mother called me with a trembling voice. She told me what Emeka's mother was saying. That maybe the problem was from her side, that she probably killed someone in her village, that God was punishing her through me. Emeka's mother is saying things, my mother told me, eyes red from crying. She's saying maybe it's from my side, that I probably killed someone in my village, and God is punishing me through you. Mama, no, I started. I know, she said. I know, but if there's anything I can do to help you conceive, I'll do it, even if I have to sell everything. And she did. My mother sold her only piece of land, the land my father left her, to pay for spiritual interventions. Traditional healers, prophets, herbalists, even a medical missionary from Ghana, none of them worked. And through all of this, Emeka watched. He never defended me or my mother. He just stayed silent, letting his mother's poison seep into our marriage. I started to wonder if he believed it too. It was November 2022, our fifth wedding anniversary. I had planned a surprise dinner, his favorite egusi soup with fresh fish, candles, the whole thing. I wanted to remind us of what we used to have. I set the table, I cooked the food, I lit the candles. I waited until midnight. He never came home. I called. No answer. I texted. No reply. By 2 a.m., I was scrolling through Instagram when I saw it. A post from one of Emeka's colleagues. A photo. Emeka at a club, dancing with a woman I didn't recognize. But the caption said it all. Happy anniversary to my love. Forever and always. I felt my heart explode. Not with grief, with rage. When he came home at 5 a.m., I was waiting. I threw my phone at him. Who is she? La Emeka didn't even Ngozi. Relax. You're sleeping with another woman and I'm supposed to relax. He sat down, running his hands over his face. Then he looked at me with eyes I'd never seen before, cold, distant, filled with resentment. Maybe this is God's way of giving me what you can't. I couldn't breathe. What? Ngozi, look at us. 7 years of marriage. 7 years, nothing. I want children. I want a family. You can't give me that. I started crying. There are options. IVF, surrogate, and pay how much? He cut me off. You know how much those things cost. And even then, you don't even know if you can carry pregnancy to term. So you just decide to have a child with another woman. He laughed. A cold, bitter laugh. At least she can give me what I need. That night I walked out. I walked through the streets of Lagos at 5 a.m., tears were streaming down my face, and I didn't know where I was going. I ended up at my mother's house, pounding on the door at dawn. When she opened it and saw my face, she didn't ask questions. She just held me. What's happening? She asked. Emeka has another woman, I whispered. She held me tighter. We'll handle it. Whatever it is, we handle it together. But she didn't know. None of us knew what was really happening. After that night, things got worse. Emeka moved the woman, a lady named Bimbo, into our apartment while I was at work. When I came home, my belongings were packed in suitcases. You can stay in the guest room, he said, or you can leave. Your choice. I chose to stay. I refused to give him the satisfaction of running me out of my own home. And maybe some part of me still hoped he would come back to his senses. But he didn't. For 6 months, I lived in my own home like a ghost. I watched my husband build a life with another woman in our bedroom. I heard them laughing, fighting, making love through the thin walls. I cried myself to sleep every night. My mother called every day, worried sick. Come back home, she would say. This is not worth it. But I couldn't leave. Not because I loved Emeka anymore. I think that love had died. I stayed because I refused to surrender. I stayed because I wanted answers. Why couldn't I have children? What was really wrong with me? And so in April 2023, I decided to find out. I went to a fertility specialist at St. Nicholas Hospital, Dr. Adabayo, a quiet man with kind eyes who listened to my entire story without interrupting. Mrs. Okonkwo, he said finally, I need to run some tests on both of you, but my husband won't come, I said. Then we'll start with you. But I need you to understand something. He leaned forward. In almost 40% of infertility cases, the problem comes from the male partner, not the female. Many times women suffer blame and shame for something that isn't their fault at all. Those words hit me like a truck. We did the tests. I waited 3 weeks for results, the longest 3 weeks of my life. When Dr. Adebayo called me into his office, his face was serious. Mrs. Okonkwo, I have your results. I held my breath. Your fallopian tubes are patent, clear and functioning. Your ovulation is normal. Your hormone levels are healthy. Your uterus is in perfect condition. He paused. There is nothing wrong with you. I blinked. What? According to all our tests, you are completely fertile. You have no reproductive issues whatsoever. I couldn't speak. My mind was spinning. But Mrs. Okonkwo, he continued, I also tested your husband. Without his knowledge, I used a sample from his last medical checkup with us. He slid a paper across the desk. Okonkwo has a condition called azoospermia. It means he produces no viable sperm. It is not his fault. It can be genetic, it can be from childhood illness. But the result is clear. He cannot father children naturally. Without medical intervention, he will never biologically father a child. Your mother-in-law has been blaming your mother for your barrenness, Doctor. Adebayo said gently. But the cause is been from your husband all along. It was never you. I put my head in my hands and wept. That evening I went home. Emeka was there, watching TV with Bimbo. She was eating from a plate of rice, laughing at something on her phone. I walked in and stood in front of them. We need to talk. Emeka looked up, annoyed. Ngozi, can it wait? Bimbo and I are no. It can't wait. I pulled the medical report from my bag and threw it on his lap. Read it. He looked at me, confused, then picked up the paper. I watched his face change as he read. Confusion, disbelief, then realization, then something I can't describe. What's this? He whispered. It's your test results, Emeka. From the hospital. My voice was steady, but my hands were shaking. You have azoospermia. You produce no sperm. You are the reason we never had children. Not me, not my mother. You Bimbo stopped eating and looked between us. Emeka stood up, paper trembling in his hand. This is not possible. It's not about what's possible, I said. It's about what's true. Your mother has been insulting my mother for 7 years, making her sell her land, making her feel like less of a human being. And it was you all along. It was always you. You're lying, he shouted. Am I? I stepped closer. Then why did you never get tested yourself? Why did you never ask a doctor about your own fertility? Because you knew. Some part of you knew that the problem was you. And instead of facing it like a man, you blamed me. You humiliated me. You brought another woman into our home. And you let your mother torture mine. Emeka's face crumpled. He sat down heavily. I didn't know, he said. I swear, Ngozi, I didn't know. But you suspected, I said. And you chose to destroy me instead of facing the truth. Bimbo stood up, her face pale. Emeka, I need to go. Wait, Emeka reached for her. I can't do this, she said. I thought, I thought you were just having marital problems. But if you can't have children at all. She shook her head. I can't, I'm sorry. She walked out, leaving Emeka staring at the door like a broken man. The weeks that followed were a blur. Emeka tried to apologize, tried to explain. His mother called, initially defending her son, then demanding to see the test results. Silence. She never called again. My mother came over one day. I told her everything. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. All these years, she finally said, I thought God was punishing me for something. I sold everything trying to fix what couldn't be fixed. She looked at me with red eyes. It was never me. It was never you, Mama. She broke down crying, and I held her. The way she held me all those years ago. We wept together, not just for the pain, but for the years we lost to lies and shame. What happens now? She asked. I don't know, I admitted. I don't know. It's been 8 months since that night. I divorced Emeka in December 2023. The process was brutal. He fought me at first, then gave up. The apartment went to him. I took my sanity and left. I moved back to Lagos, got a small apartment in Ikea, started fresh. I got a better job, finally got promoted after years of being passed over. I'm rebuilding my life brick by brick. My mother is doing better too. She's not fully healed. 7 years of shame doesn't disappear overnight. But she smiles more now. She goes to church without fear. She knows the truth. As for Emeka, I heard he went for therapy, proper medical treatment. I don't know if it worked. I don't care anymore. But here's the thing that still keeps me up at night. All those years, I believed I was broken. I believed my body had failed me. I believed God had cursed me. And I let other people believe it too. Why didn't I demand answers earlier? Why didn't Emeka get tested the moment we started struggling? Why do we as Nigerians, men especially, refuse to face medical truths about ourselves? Infertility is not a curse. It's not a punishment. It's a medical condition. And sometimes the very people we blame are the ones who carry the burden of someone else's truth. I learned something important through all of this. Never let anyone make you feel less than because of something you can't control. And never accept shame that isn't yours to carry. Today, I'm not barren. I'm not cursed. I'm not broken. I'm just Ngozi. And that's enough. To anyone going through this, you are not alone. And the truth will set you free. 6 months later, I got married again to a good man named Chukudi. He knows my story. He accepts me. He loves me for who I am, not for what I can give him. After our wedding, we sat down with a fertility specialist together. We're trying again, this time with no shame, no blame, just truth. Because the real tragedy of my first marriage wasn't that I couldn't have children. It was that I spent 7 years hating myself for something that was never my fault. Now, I just want to live. I want to love. And if children come, God willing, we'll welcome them with open arms. If they don't, I'll still be okay because I finally learned to be enough for myself. Thank you for listening to my story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below and tell me, what would you have done in my situation? Until next time, stay blessed, stay real, and never let anyone define your worth.